Welcome back, golfers. Today we're going to talk about how to get you positive spine tilt and how it's going to help your long irons and your driver get better loft, better distance, and more power. Stay tuned. So positive spine tilt, what is it? Why do we need it? And how do we get it? That's what the questions we're going to answer today. So first off, what is positive spine tilt? So if you look at my spine, if my spine is aiming towards the sky, that would be positive spine tilt. If your spine is aiming towards the ground, that would be negative spine tilt. So in the golf swing, because we're trying to deliver as much energy into the golf ball as possible, we want to stack energy towards our handle of our club. The other thing you could do is put your club up against something firm and then put yourself in a negative spine tilt position and feel where the power is coming from. Right there, you're going to feel a little bit in that trail hand, definitely the back side of that lead hand, and a lot in that outside of that shoulder. So if you think of those areas in your body, those aren't the strongest areas in your body. Now I want you to go into what we call positive spine tilt, meaning the spine is aiming towards the sky, and now push up against that same thing in that position. Now feel where the power is coming from. Now you feel it in your core, you feel it in your glutes, your hips, and you can feel more energy, able to push more energy into that ball, just naturally. So that's just going to give you also more control over it. So positive spine tilts, another way we can think about it is the center of your body is the pelvis. And the pelvis is basically your pivot point for your spine and your spine tilt. So if your pelvis shifts back behind you, that's how we get negative spine tilt. When the upper body or the head stays behind the pelvis as you swing, that's how you maintain positive spine tilt. So as you come back, just make sure that hip doesn't push away in that direction. And if it does, most of you try to get it, your body naturally tries to get it back, but it's a big move to do that in your first move in your transition, and what it's going to do is cause you to cast away your energy most likely from the top, because you're trying to counterbalance what's happening down here with what's going to happen up here. So a lot of the videos I talk about is our lower body wants to lead and our upper body wants to be more passive and just follow. Meaning you get to the top, you let the lower body lead in that first move, and then the upper body follows and then slings nicely through the golf ball, which creates allows you to load that shaft and unload it on the golf ball. So when we have positive spine tilt, what that's going to allow you to do is create this nice bow in the body, which is much easier for us to rotate, and it's much easier to get to our left side or our lead side as we make our transition and then go through into the impact, which is going to get more weight to the left side, allowing you to get better contact. The other thing it's going to do, and I stated that you're going to hit your long irons, your fairway woods, your hybrids, and your driver better. And the main reason why is because if I put myself we'll go neutral, spine tilt neutral, vertical, I'm going to put the club at parallel to the ground. Now watch the height of it. If I go into a negative spine tilt, see how the club rises up? So if you're coming into the downswing and you're in this position, then the club's going to be very vertical and very high. It's going to come in at a very steep angle on that golf ball, putting more spin on it, reducing loft, and making it very hard to hit those long irons, the fairway woods, and even catching the driver on the upswing. It's going to make it very hard for all those things to happen. So if I go back to neutral, and now I give myself positive spine tilt coming down, you can see how that naturally lowers the club and allows it to shallow out. So when I come into the ball, it's going to allow the club just to sweep off the ground when I'm using those long irons, fairway woods, and driver, which is what we want to do. We don't want to come in steep and add spin, because that's going to create left and right. So when you're getting into your setup, what I want to see is when ball position is center or moving forward, I always want to see if you're putting the club up against your sternum, or if you think about where your spine's tilting. At the beginning of the swing, I want to see that sternum just in front of the golf ball, giving yourself positive spine tilt at the beginning. Now, if you're one of those golfers who typically slides out your hip at the beginning of your swing, I found it's much easier to give yourself a touch extra spine tilt, maybe a cup in front of the ball, and just be there, because when you do push it away, you'll still maintain that hip from sliding out as easy. So if you know that's your tendency, give yourself a touch more positive spine tilt at the beginning, and just allow your body just to rotate into that position on the backswing. Now when we come into impact, as we move our hips to the left side, what's going to happen is our spine tilt is actually going to increase. And that's not a bad thing. We don't want our body to be moving forward into impact, because it actually slows down the centrifugal force of our club through impact. We actually, if you watch the long drive tour guys, they actually push their hips forward as their upper body moves back. So if we made that move, it would actually speed up the club through impact, but it makes it a little bit harder with impact. So what I do want to see is when you come in, we're hitting irons, I want you to get into your left side, hips leading, or have this nice line up the left side of our body, or our lead side of our body. Spine tilts pushing in front of the ball. Right shoulder is lower than the left. And our trail shoulder is one of those points where you kind of have to concentrate on, because if our shoulders stay very vertical, we're not going to get positive spine tilt. The trail shoulder is one of those pressure points where the whole body's connected, and if I push this side down, my left shoulder will naturally come up and my hip will naturally kick out. So when you're making that transition to come down, this shoulder ends up dropping, this shoulder ends up raising, and then when we come into impact, we have this nice line down our whole left side, and that's what we want to see when we come to impact. It's called the K position. You guys can see that K right there. K up the leg, K back to that shoulder, and then straight up and down. So it's like a reverse K. If you're left-handed, it looks like a K. So when we make that swing, hips first to impact, hips are ahead, hip pelvis is in front of my eyes, and then just rotate through. The other thing that's going to do is going to allow my hip not to be out of position, because if my body is in this position, as I rotate, it's going to stay over here and maintain that spine tilt as you come through. If you're in a negative position, say you're here into a negative position, or even just slightly, almost neutral, but slightly behind it, and then we go over here, and then when you rotate, you end up very vertical when you finish, because that hip wasn't in the correct position as you came into the ball. So if you struggle getting that hip in the right position, then more positive spine tilt, allows us to hold on to the lag deeper, allows for our left shoulder to get higher, our body to open up easier, and rotate to our target much more comfortably than having to fight it from that top-down negative spine tilt position. So I'm going to give you guys a couple drills you can do to help you get that positive spine tilt position and do it more comfortably. So the first one we're going to do is a pump drill. So what we're going to do is just take the club to the top and just pump that lower body back and forth, starting that transition, just like that. And what that's going to allow you to do is you're going to feel your body. So if you start doing this, you're going to feel all those movements when you do that pump. So just there, and just pump, pump, pump. Fourth time, go ahead and swing through it. And you can hit balls this way too. So you can set up to it and just take it back, pump, pump, pump. Fourth time, go ahead and hit it. Another drill that really helps with the feel, with maintaining positive spine tilt and starting out with it, is a stationary position at the top. So this is one drill that Butch Harmon used to use on Tiger Woods. Worked really well. I know he didn't like it very much, but it's very effective
in not only getting the body to start bottom up in the sequence, but also to feel the positive spine tilt in the body without getting off track. So to do this drill, what we're going to do, get set up. So take it to the top of the swing, pause, hold your position, and then swing to finish. Make sure when you do that, you initiate with the lower body. Don't feel like you throw the hands first. That'll allow the hips to stay in front of your head, maintain this positive spine tilt, and allow you to hit it. So the last drill I have for you guys, you just need your golf bag. And what you're gonna do is set your golf bag up kind of back to the side of you, right there. You're gonna put your foot right around that first leg, and then you're gonna put your hip right up against the tallest club in your bag. Make sure it does not poke out in front. You don't want your hands to be hitting your club. So in this drill, if you're one of those golfers that sway away, this is gonna keep you from swaying back off that takeaway and allow us to maintain that positive spine tilt we're talking about. So we're gonna get into our setup position, right there. And when I take it back, I'm not gonna be able to push that club away. If I do, I'm gonna feel it. So let's try it. So try out the bag drill, try out the pump drill, try out that stationary one at the top. I guarantee you those will make that positive spine tilt easier for you.
Golfers, if there's one move you're looking to do to improve those long irons and that driver, it's to get positive spine tilt. I showed you guys what positive spine tilt is today, why you need it, and I kind of went through how to get it, the feeling in the body. It allows the body to rotate well, and it'll make you guys hit those harder to hit clubs much easier. Remember, if your feet aren't working, your swing's not working. I'll catch you guys next time.